I just finished reading Breath by James Nestor, and I just wanted to quickly give you the 80-20 rule of this book. If you don't know what the 80-20 rule is, it's basically 80% of outcomes come from 20% of causes. And so, first of all, breathe through your nose. It's a scary amount of people out there who breathe through their mouth, or mouth breathers. Like, first of all, you're not a dog. Breathe through your nose. I know it doesn't work like that, but that's what I always tell people. I always like to tell people. But either way, if you breathe through your mouth, basically air doesn't get filtered and all the bacteria, all the stuff that's in the air just goes straight into your body. If you breathe through your nose, basically everything gets filtered, since you have these like little hairs in your nose and also the whole tunnels, etc., etc. I don't want to go too far into detail in this. If you're really curious about this, go do your own research. But basically, if you breathe through your nose, you're gonna, first of all, not get so sick so easily, but also what's very interesting, your face changes. I've experienced this actually myself, and it's that if you breathe through your mouth gets smaller, so basically you lose your jaw, quickly said. And so the jaw goes back, and basically the nose also, it all like deteriorates, it all like goes back down to your throat, so basically the air can access easier. That's just like a natural response of the body. But also the airways of your nose just get smaller every single time your mouth breathes. Which is, of course, counterintuitive, because if you're trying to breathe through your nose and be actually a healthy human being, every time you breathe through your mouth, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. But the same thing is also true every time you breathe through your nose. If you breathe through your nose, every single time it will get better. In the start, it's fucking annoying, it's hard and everything. I myself have been part mouth breather for a very, very long time of my life. And I actually took a picture when I first read that in the book versus now. And my jaw literally came forward at least 2 centimeters or 1 inch. Around that. Maybe a little bit less than an inch. But either way, breathe through your nose. Force yourself. Force yourself. I did this even with running. Now, I would not recommend this if you're a sprinter or if you like do extreme HIIT cardio where your pulse, your heart rate goes beyond like 160, 170, since that's like a zone where you're gonna need the oxygen saturation. If it works for you, all good, just keep doing it. But I even implemented this with running, with the gym, with any kind of sport I did, and it kind of accelerated it. And also what I've noticed is my endurance is much, much better since I've been breathing through my nose. Another thing, and this is also helping with nose breathing, is to just, before you go to bed, you take a little tape and you tape your mouth. I've also been doing this for a very, very long time now, quite some months it's been, but my sleep has never been better. I already have like very short sleep on some days, but since taping my mouth, I first of all don't wake up anymore as often in the night and like feeling grumpy the next morning and like shit. And that's also very interesting because in the book basically the author describes that a lot of times in certain sleeping positions, your mouth basically falls open whilst you're asleep and you start breathing through your mouth. Now, the only thing you can do against this is just tape your mouth. And even if you taped your mouth 1,000,000 times, this can still happen because just certain sleeping positions that we get into at night when we just like turn around or something, we're just prone to having our mouth open. It's something you just can't do really anything about it except keep taping your mouth. But also something I've saw people do is they take like a band or like a cloth or a piece of cloth and they just put it around their head and basically like keep their mouth shut that way. I'm not quite sure if that's such a good technique, but hey, props to you if it works. Another thing I want to mention is, and this is something a lot of people who are on this self-improvement way are trying to get, let's call it that, is a thicker neck. A thicker neck is not that great for breathing actually, or at least that's what in the book Breath it says, because the muscles basically just, they grow around your throat, right? Like the sternocleidomastoid, which is like right here. They go around your throat and basically start choking you, at least in your sleep. He said that a lot of weightlifters have sleep apnea because of this, because their neck is too thick. Now, in the book he says it's like 16 inch neck, but I'm not quite sure if that's true, so you're just gonna have to experiment right there at what range you just get sleep apnea, because you don't want to have that shit. It's really annoying. You don't want it. Also, of course, this applies to if you're fat as well. It doesn't matter if it's fat, if it's muscles, doesn't matter. If your neck is too thick, you can basically start choking on yourself in your sleep. Now, in the book Breath, there is also a lot of, how should I say, there's a lot more in the book Breath, but I think this almost sums it up, except one more thing, and that is to start training your jaw muscles. Now, if you start training your jaw muscles, apparently that stimulates the stem cells and that causes bone growth. That's at least what Breath says. I want to make this clear. I'm not a scientist. I just have this from this book, and it worked for me, so it may work for you as well. Basically, if you train your jaw muscles, again, it also it not only does stimulate the stem cells, and yeah, you get better at breathing, etc., etc. You get more oxygen in your blood, but also I think this is the main reason why people start training their jaw is the masseter muscles get bigger. This is like it's like the one at the side of your jaw. The masseter muscle gets bigger, and of course you're gonna have a better jawline. And I think this is gonna be the reason why most people are gonna be interested in it. I actually started training my jaw quite a while ago, because once I got a hook in one of my boxing classes, and my jaw just clicked out and clicked back in, and it was not nice, because then I couldn't close my jaw for 3 days. And so I started training it. There are different ways how you can train your jaw. One is to just chew harder things. Our ancestors chewed for like 6 hours every single day. Meanwhile, we chew for like maybe 2 if you're not overweight. Either way, just chew harder stuff either. Or I've heard there's like also this like really hard to chew gums, chewing gums, or like products, etc. Honestly, what I do, and this is just pretty simple, everyone can do it, is I just take a piece of cloth, I wrap it around the weight, I literally bite the cloth and basically do neck extensions with it. That's what I do. It's the most simple thing. If you don't want to do this at the gym because you don't want to get weird looks, just buy some weights. It's pretty much it. But let me just tell you, you don't need any products. Also, if you don't have any money for weights, just buy a backpack filled up with some books or something, with some heavy stuff. If you don't have books, you definitely have some rocks outside. Definitely, you have somewhere you have rocks. You just fill it up, and you basically just do the neck extensions with it. That's basically it. That's like, these things are just gonna, even just breathing through your nose is just gonna guarantee you like 80% of all the results. Everything else is just a bonus on top. But yeah, that basically sums up every practical thing you can do from the book Breath. I hope it helps. I hope you see some results. See you next time.